Hello, people. Energies are wow. I see we had more yesterday came in. I was awake. That's what you get when you get these when they first come in. You're like, wow, it feels so amazing, and you're on such a high. Your energy goes like through the roof. And you are like up there, so high. And then, you know, as I say, then what it does, obviously, because now it's going through the body, it's going to pull up the, you know, dark dense energy, whatever, you know, that you need to release, so you can go up, so you can integrate it. And then you're like, then the next day you're like, oh man, I'm tired, I want to stay in bed or whatever it is. It is quite different, isn't it? But that's what it is. You know, it comes in and it's like, oh, this is amazing. I mean, wow, it's like you're on cloud 9, right? But as the body is integrating it, as you're going up now, every cell, every molecule in the body is now, you know, starting to slowly, because otherwise, I mean, you know, your body wouldn't manage. So it's starting to recalibrate or adjust to this frequency vibration. Well, stuff which is emotions, it's just energy and motion. So things that you maybe have trapped, you didn't let flow through you when you were a kid, or it's still beliefs that now, you know, old paradigm beliefs, which is anything that's fearful, negative, it's all old paradigm belief. So could you imagine? So you keep having to ask, okay, the next morning, please show me any thoughts, beliefs, feelings, emotions, things, you know, that no longer serve me, that, you know, that's holding me from raising into more light, a higher consciousness, and whatever. Please show me, you know, what I can release and that no longer serves me. But you must state, because remember, we have to ask for what we want, because you're actually creating your own reality. People keep forgetting this. So do you want to raise in light, frequency, and vibration or consciousness? Yes. So ask them to show you anything that's not in alignment. This is a good shortcut as well. So you ask them to show you anything that's not in alignment with your inner being and your heart and source. So if there's any dark, dense, negative, anything, nonsense energy, it's going to come up. Because remember, your inner being and source vibrate at pure, positive, unconditional love and light. So there we are. You want to, you know, kick out that doesn't, but things that don't vibrate at that frequency and resonance, you see. So it is quite an interesting process. And I had a little bit of a quick go today, because I see a lot of, it's the same thing. It's people have still got one foot in the old paradigm, the old earth. This is the old way of being, the old way of thinking. Now Bashar talks about this a lot. He's very good at talking about this, the new paradigm, the old way of being. Even Kriyana, everyone tries to tell people. The Buddhas tell you. I mean, the person who's probably done so much research on the mind and all the realms, or what you think dimensions, they call them realms. And they always say, when it's dark, you focus on the light. You never, now science is showing this as well, Photon. So you never give your attention, your energy, your focus, your thoughts. You don't listen to anything that is negative. So you might as well just say negative is dark, positive is light. There we are. So information that you're following, which is any mainstream alternative media, news, same gossip, it's gossip, drama, it's negative. Please show me anything that's positive, you know what I mean? And this is why we're on this 30-40 day thing, is not to give our attention. Then people can actually raise their frequency and vibration enough and realize that their thoughts, that we're picking up different thoughts, because as you raise in light, frequency and vibration, you're vibrating higher. So all the dark, negative stuff is here. Your frequency and vibration will rise, and you will only pick up higher frequency and vibrational thoughts. So you will feel better. These things will come to you, see, attracting more. But as soon as you start thinking about anything that's frightening, negative, nasty, you don't want, well, you're dropping your frequency and vibration. There we are. So we were talking about this, I don't think I even want to repeat it. I actually shared it. I had a little rant quickly, not really, but trying to explain to people. So it was a good example, because it's, you know, so I can explain, because people aren't getting this in the light working starseed movement at all. So I had a little rant on my Facebook page just to explain the nonsense that's going around and why it's going around, so people can understand. You see, there we are. Anyway, let's just see what Source wants to show. And I did a little test the other day. I want you to see something. And this is interesting, because if you know this, once you cognize it, that it is, everything is a frequency and vibration, every thought, every feeling, every emotion, right? It's actually emotions, energy. They all give off. But the ones that you are attracting, the stuff you're attracting to you is actually the feeling. Because you can say, yeah, but you don't really believe that. You see, sometimes what we're saying here, we're contradicting it with actually how we really feel. And that's the part that you are attracting, the law of attraction part that's working, okay? So, people that were on my first, I think it was my first 2 lives. It's fascinating. Well, see, we attracted a very interesting gentleman who was, trying to save people. Well, from good intent, right? Well, depends. I don't know. Some people's intent is actually from fear. Most things are based from fear. We don't realize it, but it actually comes down to fear. So there's fear, or there's, same thing. So it was, thinking that you're all on the wrong path and you are all going to doom yourselves, right? That comes from a fear base, but it doesn't matter. But his intentions are good because he's thinking he's saving your souls, right? So I attracted someone that was following me and that was preaching on here. And repeating as though, whatever. Because that's what he really, and it's, remember, one thing we need to emphasize very clearly is free will. Now, free will is given to all in this human game, everybody, if you like it or not. No matter what you think about them, what they do with it, if they do good things or bad with it, whatever. Free will. Now, think about what that means to you. You have absolute free will and free choice to choose every belief, every emotion, every thought, every feeling, whatever you want to do. No matter if it's, you can go as, negative and as whatever as you want to. That's just, make a unpleasant life for yourself, especially when you don't realize that you're actually creating it. You're making the script and what you're saying, the universe, okay, yeah, give more of that. So you'll be like having fun for a long, long time. So this is basically it. So free will is awarded to all of us, right? So that's why I won't knock somebody else's thing. It's their choice, not our problem. So if that person wants to do that, it's their free will. I respect my free will to believe and feel whatever I want to create and do. That's mine. That person believes that it's no right or wrong. We have choices, and then we're all choosing and creating and experiencing something different at source. Every soul is absolutely equal. No one is more deserving or less deserving than another. So this person was on here, and I thought this is interesting. And I was watching their comments and telling, anyway, because he's very based in the religious doctrine. And people are frightened to change. Change is a huge, big thing for people. When you step into this, the best is surrender to source. Here I am. And don't have any, don't try and box source or this dimension or that, because then you're actually restricting yourself. It's infinite. You have no idea what's out there. If you just open and don't try and think and send me there or whatever. Hi, Andrew. There we are. You're back. Okay. There we are. Now that's what I think this is fascinating. Here we are. So let me explain something. This is actually classic. I love it. Thank you for being here, Andrew. So let me explain. This is actually fantastic. Thank you. Because this validates exactly the fact of the reality. People that understand Abraham Hicks and that follow me now know what we're doing. Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's fantastic. Thank you, Andrew, for being here. Bless you. So here's a classic proof of this. Right. So Andrew, me understanding what I'm doing, realizing, okay, why did I manifest Andrew? Because you understand whatever frequency and vibration I'm holding at this current time, because I've activated it, right? So it's active in me. That means there's a frequency and vibration that's active in me that drew that experience to me. So I thought, why would I draw an experience to myself where someone's trying to condemn and preach? So it's a savior complex, right? I've got to save you, I've got to save you, right? So I'm thinking, oh, hang on. So what it made me do, and I said to people, don't criticize him, because we all have free will to believe whatever we want and create whatever we want. And there we are, right? No judgment. Remember, no judgment in any way. So I found this interesting. So I knew that because I understand how it works. And I've actually experienced it. So I'm trying, I see it, and then I'm like, oh, wow. Then I deactivate that, and then I can test it. So anyway, people, you've got to do this. You've got to walk it. So I realized, okay, I've attracted that. Then I deactivate. I look for what's drawn that person to me. And then identify what I might be holding, the same resonance. And then I'll test it. So I deactivate it and clear that from me. And guess what? When that person leaves the experience, I'm like, I got it, bingo. So I love this. So I realized what Andrew was doing. And I was like, okay, this is that savior. I've got to save you. This, like, I'm responsible. That's why I said the savior complex people, please do that healing and clearing. Let that go, because you are absolutely not. Every one of you is equal, as powerful as God. You are a fractal of source. So you are all as powerful. You're actually more frightened of your light. I explained that to you. People are terrified of their own light and power, not their darkness, actually, more their own light. Because you're waking up to it, like, no, I can't be. As you climb, you've got to get there, begin to accept your divinity and light, right? So anyway, this is quite interesting. So I realized what it was, and I was like, oh, wow. And then I realized, what am I doing? And I reflected on what I've been doing, and I thought, okay, am I doing it because I love doing this, because I know it's free will? Source, whatever free people that are meant to find your video will find your video, right? Or come across this frequency, resonance, the same thing. Depending on the frequency and where they're at, they'll be drawn to your content. And you can practice this even on YouTube. If you watch your mood and then go and scroll through TikTok and just watch what videos pop up in for you. And then when you're on a very high frequency vibration, right, go and do that for just don't get stuck on it because it's negative 10 minutes. And scroll through, the For You page or whatever, and just watch what difference. Very different. You are absolutely attracting, drawing. Even the content you watch, same with thoughts. And say, I'll get there, that's on a higher level. So I realized Andrew was doing this, right? I realized this was exactly what was happening. He had this, I've got to save people, I'm trying to preach. So you're trying to force your information, you're preaching, you're trying to, like, you've got to wake up, you've got to do this, on people, right? So it's the same, it doesn't matter what the base is, but that's what it was about. I'm going to, got to save them, I've got to save them, right? I realized I was, wonderful. I realized I was doing this. So I immediately released that. And guess what? Boing, gone. Gone. Quiet for a bit. And then today, everyone started going on about this CERN nonsense because it's in the collective and it's the same dark, dense thoughts and agenda and fear-based nonsense. So we're learning to step out of the darkness, as Bashir says, because any fear and negative thought is dark. Negative, dense, dark. Positive, light. So this is an unfortunate thing. If you want to believe that, you are creating it and you're keeping it in your reality, you see. It's difficult to explain. And then those are the same frequencies and vibrations. You're resonating it, so more thoughts, more things in the same frequency, vibration, and negative will come to you to validate it. So people don't realize it. They listen, but they don't think they quite cognize it because they're not. If people went off social media, which is that 30-40 day thing we're practicing now, telling people not to do that, unless it's positive content, unless it's something that's empowering you, that's growing your light, you're doing your healing, you're listening to music, you're singing, even songs. I'm very selective of what I watch, right? So yeah, anyway, so guess what? Today I got binged again about the CERN thing. I'm listening to all these people, I'm thinking, oh, these people just don't seem to get it, right? They don't seem to understand that if you choose to believe that and fear that, you're going to create it. Why would you choose a dark, negative belief and choice? It's like, as your truth, as your thing. Because when you focus on it and listen to it, you're giving it your attention, you're putting a photon. Science has proven this as well. So you've got science backing this up. The science is there now about the photons, the Bashar is there, Abraham Hicks is telling you, everyone's telling people, but they keep doing it. I'm like, ooh. So I'm saying, why would people even pay attention to this? It's not positive, it's dark. It's fear. Someone is putting a dark, dense, negative belief and story out there. It's a story. No one's got proof, no one knows what's going to happen, but someone's saying, this is going to happen. Now people are choosing to say, oh, okay, I believe that. So now they have now claimed that as a resonance. You are holding that frequency and vibration and resonance. Everything else in the same frequency and vibration and belief will come to you. You can go and ask your guides all you want. They're not here to create your life. You are. You have free choice and free will. So they're not going to say, no. Your bias and beliefs are there. They go, yeah. Otherwise, you could ask your guides everything, and they'll be telling you, no, don't go there, do the shop, walk there, do that. No one does it. You're not babysat. They're here to assist you. That's it. But you are absolutely able and can create whatever you want. So I just can't get this. So of course, this is me now. As I said, I went on Facebook, and then I realized I'm doing exactly what Andrew was doing. I reactivated that same thing because I'm thinking, oh, I've got to save them, but it's not. They're free will. It's a lesson. So what? So even though my intention was good, because your intention is like, please, people, when are you going to cognize this? Because if you focus on the dark, you listen to it as like. There's another example, if you like, workers. How you channel people. You think about the person you want to channel, the being. You focus on it. You raise your frequency and vibration. That's how you're tuning into them. You're aligning with it, and then you can contact them, can't you? What do you think your thoughts are doing? Now you're listening to this rubbish. You are now lowering your frequency and vibration to it. Resonate. Okay, yeah, taking it on. There we are. I'm like, ew, no. So now you're going to, enough of you do that, you will manifest that outcome for yourselves. Why would you choose when they tell you you're absolutely creating it? Why would you choose to create a negative outcome on anything? It's not light. So if you think someone's telling you that, they're exposing the light. No, they're not. They're spreading darkness. They're not exposing anything. Because nothing is set in stone. That's what even they tell you. Possibilities, because you create it. It can go this way or that way. So what they're doing is spreading darkness and wanting you to manifest it. They're putting it out there. Enough people. And then when people do tap in, they think they're tapping in, they're asking the guides, what do they do? What are they tapping into? The collective consciousness. If you're picking up dark and negative thoughts and fears, you need to raise your frequency and vibration. All you have tapped into is the collective consciousness. Because source, the angels and all that do not tell you no, yes, what to believe in or not. You raise your frequency and vibration, they will not tell you any nonsense, any fear. I have not listened to, and I purposely told you, I don't listen to any of the nonsense, any media. I don't get any warnings. Oh, you better do this, you better do that, you better worry about this or that. You see? There we are. Thank you for being here, Andrew. I'm glad, because now you are proof of what frequency and vibration I had. And it was smack on. When you showed up today, I was like, I don't believe it. There we are. It's a proof. It's exactly what I was resonating at earlier on, thinking, oh my gosh. And I'm not. I said to people, you're not here to save anyone. They do not need saving. We are all part of Source, and you are absolutely equal. That higher self, inner being is Source. That you are channeling, you call your higher self, your inner being, is part of Source. That's it. No one is, it's amazing. It's just, yeah, you're welcome. So, what people don't understand, if you're on Facebook, go and watch my Facebook. I went into detail because when you express, it's on the moment, it just comes, so it flowed through me. And I made a very good point about this, how it works, and about resonance. So you're actually drawing those thoughts to you because you're at this level of frequency and vibration. So what you're doing is everything is frequency and vibration, even thoughts, people, it's energy. So when you now lowered yourself to that nonsense and you're following it, it's at a dark, dense, everything. That's why people keep feeling everything is dark and negative. But, look what they're going to do. Why? That is old paradigm. It's old energy, old way of being. This is all humans have done. Oh, and as I was shown, and I said on my TikTok page, when they showed me, they saw. It was so funny because we're still leaving the caveman era actually now. This is what we are doing. We're ascending into a light, higher consciousness. That means positive, no negativity. Light is high, light. There's no, everything that's dark and dense is why you feel it when you, emotions are a classic example. Fear, anger, hurt, pain. It's closed and it feels terrible, right? Exactly. Unconditional love, bliss. Light, light, light. But if you want to feel that, you've got to focus on it. You've got to be it. You've got to say it. You've got to think it. You've got to, as I said, I've said every night, my lives have been expanding to how to do it. Do your releasing, do your clearing, you know what I mean? It's work, shadow work, absolutely. You've got to release, whatever I say. As you get triggered, as this, whatever you need to release comes up, you've got to do your work. You've got to let it go. So if every time there's a new surge and something comes up and I feel that, ooh, it always gets stuck with the energy. And I say, okay, oopsie, what's that? Very dark, dense energy, okay. What do I need to release? And that's that good one, is that Qigong. Purge and tonify is amazing ones to get rid of stuck energy, stale or stuck energy, wow, in the body. Because you feel it. And that helps a lot. Alright, so I just thought it was classic. And then Andrew shows up just to validate my point. And I'm like, yes. Because exactly what I did today. No, exactly. I slipped into an old pattern for a bit. Because you're tired and you can tell on the sweet. Because our body's adjusting. I mean, it's high frequencies. That's why we get tired. People don't realize you get tired because, wow, your body is not used to it. When you've still got dark, dense energy in your body and so much light comes in. I'm trying to explain. Why? Okay, Bashar even explains, other ETs explain. Coming here, when you're in a very high frequency, right? And here is in... Even if you remotely or go back to when you drop back into being physical, into reincarnating here. Wow, you drop down, 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 down. It's dark, dense, slow. Everything slows down. Now for them, they're vibrating in a very high frequency and vibration. To come into a physical vessel like this, it will be so painful. It's too sensitive. It's so slow, so dense. When you raise your frequency and vibration enough, if you're doing what I'm telling you to do and only working on yourself and only listening to this music and positive and eating properly and visualizing and the light and I am doing affirmations, all the stuff you're supposed to be doing, your frequency and vibration will go very high. And guess what? Like I said, you will be walking on air. I'm not joking. You can rise at enough light when you're visualizing a light, doing it, sending it out, and light, and blah, blah, blah. You become so light that you could, like, walking is no effort. I cannot even, it's the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. When you're walking along, it's literally as though there's no gravity. I mean, not joking. It's like you are super light. Your physical vessel become, I'm serious, people. You are holding so much light. This is how they become non-physical. This is where we're going as humans. We're going back to non-physical. That you hold so much light, you don't need a physical vessel. That's what the Pleiadians are, non-physical, most of them anymore. They're here, you just don't see them. They're non-physical. They don't need a physical vessel. They evolved way past that. You see, this is the difference. It's amazing, and you need to experience that. It is amazing. I love it. You see my frequency and vibration? Because I set off this thing today about, I got to say these people because they just like, doing themselves. It doesn't matter, because then I realized, actually, no, that's actually not, because you're not to judge. You have free will, and some of those souls have chosen a lesson, or they're not ready. They need to learn. And also, it doesn't matter, source doesn't care. You can do what you want. You can create what you want. That's the free will. That is the free will. So me, I'm thinking, okay, but you can't, because the information's out there, like I found it. If you seek it, it's there. The light is there. This fear of hate, anger, is all dark, dense energy. And like I said to you, you can't do anything of those. If you judge even them, if you participate in judgment, anger, blame, hate, drama, gossip, all this nonsense, you are lowering your light and your energy and frequency and vibration. So me, there's a trigger, I realize, because I'm watching everyone, I'm thinking, oh no, here they go again, they don't want to create, but that doesn't matter, because you can raise your frequency and vibration. Here's a classic example of proof of this in science, right? The placebo. Bruce Lipton, who's done 30 years of research, a fantastic scientist, what a beautiful being, very enlightened man. Bruce Lipton, the biology of belief. How come cancer's gone like that for some and not for others? There's another one, Dr. Joe Dispenza, leading this research on consciousness to prove that what you believe, what happens to you, right? Absolute classic of this. So yeah, your belief is critical. And if you choose it as your belief, you're going to end up with it. Because what you have just done now is picked all these thoughts, frequencies of vibrations. Think of all thoughts are out there as frequencies of vibrations. So you are just cruising along. You bump into one when you're on that level. If you're on a lower level, you're going to bump into them. And if you like, oh, okay, I resonate. As soon as you attach to that, like I like it, I don't, it makes me angry, whatever your reaction is, that's why the Buddhists say non-reaction, non-attachment. And because I don't want to draw to them, because if you react to it, get angry, whatever it is, you have now activated that frequency and vibration in you. Guess what? You are holding it. You are broadcasting it. Look, Andrew and his friend are here. I love it. It's a classic example. I thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you. We love you all. And that's the most amazing thing about Source. Yesterday I had the most amazing experience. I shared it I made a quick video on YouTube. I went live on YouTube. It's like 6 minutes to explain to people, wow, it was amazing. I merged my consciousness finally with Source completely, when there's no more I. Because when you leave the body and you go over there as a soul, I've done that before and I've shared them, going up the tunnel of light as Source, leaving your body, what it's like when you die, what you see and feel when you die, and then being on the other side and looking down. Now there's some truth there, because what they say in the Bible is, that part is true. When they say you hear and know everything, Source, this is what I'm trying to tell you, everything. Now in your human mind, because we're in the lower frequency and density, you can't perceive this, because you're in a linear game we're playing, so we can only have one thought, one thing, or you focus on one thing at the time, right? But when you're out of the body back with Source, everything, you are aware of, you can hear. Now I can't, you can go watch my video, and you can understand. I expressed it as soon as I finished. I explained to everybody what I saw, what I felt. It was amazing. I don't remember everything, but that's basically what your eye is able to see and hear everything, everywhere, like not only this planet, every person, every life on this planet, other planets, everywhere. But by choosing what you want to focus on, you like zoom in. So how you, don't ask me, because that's what I'm saying, you can't comprehend it in your mind. How you can filter, oh, that's interesting conversation John's having over there in Canada, and you can zoom in. Purely by your focus or your intent, you can zoom in and, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I want to be born in that family. That looks like action. I want to get in, whatever. This is, I'm telling you, you choose, eh? And as a soul, you don't choose what you think, because you know you're eternal. You can't die. You've been doing this for billions of years, people. You've been here since the beginning of creation, which I shared like yesterday. Oh, amazing. Anyway. So yesterday I now merged with Source as one, as complete one, where there's no looking at Source. You become, oh my gosh. And I understood what they say when you hear that sound. They say angels singing, but it's not. They say music to your ears. It's like every being, everything in creation has frequency and resonance. Yeah, that's what they say. You have your own frequency. You have your own, everybody has their own frequency. And color, because remember, whatever frequencies and vibrations, this is color. Like that's why you have an auric field. People can read your aura, right? Blue, red, yellow around you now. So not one person has the same frequency or signature. Why? Because you've all had different experience. You've activated this thought, that feeling, no one. So you can identify every soul as unique, separate from the Source. But when you're together, it's one coherent. I fully understand why. Go watch my video on YouTube. I shared it last night. It's amazing. It was so, you're welcome. It's so amazing, because now you understand why we care about each other, because we love each other. Because for Source, for the Creator, every single one, you make the whole. You can't miss one. There's no such thing. You can't imagine one being missing. There's nothing more, doesn't matter who and what. No soul is more valuable or less valuable than anyone else, because all together you make a symphony. This beautiful symphony. It's the most amazing feeling of oneness, of like every soul, every being is vibrating, makes the whole. So you feel whole. You feel, so it's okay, you understand. That's what the parable of the lost sheep comes from. You can't imagine. Source, that's it. You are part of Source. So you can't be missing. You can't be, I can't explain it. It's so difficult. It's amazing. It's just awesome. All I can say is awesome. So there we are. So I suppose that's why I thought about that, and I was questioning why I get upset, you see. And I asked yesterday, I thought, why is it I get so upset about it? Why do I feel such an attachment to humans, right? Or everybody. Why do I love them so much that it upsets me sometimes? Look, yes, I'm going, okay, people, please don't do this to yourselves, you know? Why? It's because of that. Because we are one. You love, as Jesus said, the same thing. As you love me as I love my Father, whatever, you know, the same thing. He said, do unto one as you do the other. That's what it is. Because you love all, because there are you. You couldn't miss. If one was missing, it doesn't make up the whole. It won't sink. It just, I can't explain it. I actually cannot. I can't put it into words. So yeah, you are one. You are absolutely. You see, there's no one more important or less important or more. It's beautiful, beautiful that we make such this. So this is why you've got this absolute love for all. I mean, all beings, people. We're talking about all creation, not just humans. Eh? There's more than just humans in creation, live souls, beings, you know. All. Make this perfect. How would I put it into words? Symphony. There we are. And just, yeah. This is why free will, all supported. And you can believe and create whatever you want. And if you practice what I'm saying, you will see for yourself. Change your thoughts, but you've got to be open-minded. You've got to be willing to try and experiment, change it, and do thoughts. And then you will see, like, oh, wow. Wow. So yeah, embody the light, be the light, ask for the light, seek the light, be it, share it, send it out, think it. Okay. Which means question your thoughts. Love, judgment, anger, criticism, blame, any of that nonsense. See? Hi, thank you. Yeah, no, it's, well, today, there we are. So I've got to see what else, like everybody. Yes. Yes, I know. I experienced something similar to that actually, but never mind. It's one of my YouTube videos will actually describe that. But anyway, there we are. And then I realized I'm actually doing that because we can't judge. Same with Source. So you're allowed to choose. I've got to honor whatever belief. If they want to believe this, they want to believe the earth is flat, they want to believe the moon is pink and there's green people living behind them or under their house or whatever they want to believe. I have to honor and respect that. Not judge them, not criticize, but just say, oh, okay, I see that. Thank you. But then remember, you have a choice. You can say, like, I see this information. I don't go, this is what I say. Here's an example for you. Yeah, hi. Instead of going to say, hi, that's nonsense, what you say is, oh, okay, wow, they choose to believe that. I honor, I see and respect that. But no, thank you. As a being of free will, I choose this. Acknowledge you create your reality. Choose a positive timeline. No, thanks. I don't choose that reality. But I see them doing that. Same with a certain nonsense. That's their choice. I see them doing that. It is their free will and choice to manifest whatever nastiness they want or belief. That is their choice. I honor. You're not supposed to judge it. I honor. I accept that. But I choose better, positive. I choose light. Negative. Why would I want to experience anything dark or negative? No, thank you. I only choose the light and I choose positive. So what will happen? I won't be affected by any of that. Nothing can enter your reality. No energy can impose itself on you. People have to understand this. It comes to attachments are the same thing. Nothing can impose itself on you. You are holding a frequency and vibration, which is fear, victimhood, and nonsense, whatever. Dark, dense energy, your frequency is at that level, your thoughts, you're focusing, you've drawn it to you. Now, if you believe it or accept it or fear it, you have given it permission, basically. That's how. All you have to do is turn around and say, no, thank you, goodbye. Nothing and nothing has power over you. So same applies to this. It will not affect you. Now Bashar makes that very clear in his channels. He says, why choose if you believe that you choose it as belief, it will be yours. And I'm not joking. That is a frequency, vibration, or timeline you are on. Why would you choose that? Raise it above that, so other people might be affected because they believe they will be. Oh, this energy's got me. It's come, not, whatever. It's going to come from Mars, and it's doing this to me, and they will experience that, and I'll be like cruising around, happy and glowing, and there we are. Nothing will happen. I won't experience any of it. Only positive energy, only light, high frequency, clearing. I'm not focusing. I'm not manifesting, and I'm not saying, yeah, okay, but give me some of that, and give me some of that. No. And this is what those that are seeking the light, and this is why I'm doing these videos every day, to share a lot of this and insight and tips and tests and experiments, and saying, try it, do these things and try it and see for yourself. So lovely. See, raise your frequency and vibration, as they explain. All they are is thoughts, and their thoughts are gathering together at different frequencies and vibrations, right? Levels. Think of it as realms, dimensions, timelines, whatever you want. So here's all the real darkest shit, which all of you have. I don't know if it depends if you've had any of that. You've gone through those very dark realms. Ooh, they're not nice. Wow. And especially in the beginning, when we first woke up, we cleared a lot of darkness on this planet. There was a lot of darkness on this planet, and there was actually a realm that was collapsed. I witnessed that. All the angels came in and actually collapsed the realm. Actually, a lot was moved off, a lot of things that were trapped here. So there's a lot of different things. Then there's all these thoughts, beliefs, because remember, every thought, anything that's ever existed exists. You choose what you're going to tune into. And what's his name? Joe Dispenza says that very clearly. Your pineal gland, your thoughts are like, you think of it as a radio frequency. So you think a thought out, and that thought is never gone. It never disappears. It's out in the quantum. It's out in the thing. But it's at a certain frequency. So it will gather with all the other dark thoughts and negative and fear and shit. So this is what I'm saying. This is all that people think their thoughts are their own. If you listen very carefully to Abraham Hicks, to Bashar, and those people, they're not actually. They're not yours. They're not. You think of a thought, it's put into your mind by your soul, whatever you want to experience, and then you believe in that. Oh, okay, you've attached that. So they will more in the same frequency and vibration, or whatever you put your foot will come to you. You start thinking of the light, of this and that, and more of those will come to you. Why do you think that's what the Buddhists practice big time? Buddhists majorly, they teach them, don't attach, don't get triggered, don't identify with it, because then you attach to that. But they didn't quite, and maybe they didn't know at that time there was a frequency and vibration, because those beings hadn't come to earth, to explain that to us yet. Because we're raising in a different frequency, we are now risen in consciousness, we're able to perceive higher, let's say, vibrational thoughts and ways of being. We can understand it. So it's not like Chinese to us. If they'd come down, now Abraham Hicks had come down in Jesus' days, could you imagine? Nobody would have got what a word, because the frequency vibration, your level of consciousness was so off. But now we can, as you raise up, you will match with it. This is what people are doing. Why do you think you're resonating to different channels and following different people? At your levels of your spiritual journey, as you start on the spiritual journey, you will resonate with different people. You'll see for yourself. And then as you go up, you do a certain level and you clear, you raise more. Then that teacher, you kind of outgrow them, and then you'll find, oh, there's a new person to follow. You see, this is what it is. It's all it is. You're raising in consciousness. And the higher you go, there aren't any of these fear, victim, frightening, this one, that one, judgment, hate. That's going to get you. They're wrong. He's bad. That's any of that. Any of it. It's just one. Right. It's all love. It's all tolerant. There is no separation either. There's no duality really at a high, there isn't any actually. That's just on this game for us to experience. Because we have to have a choice. It's contrast. We actually just here for the experience. But we can choose to stop torturing ourselves. And this is what they're trying to get us to do. It is absolutely your choice if you want to believe anything negative, which is dark, or the positive things that are light. No, I choose that. I would like a good life. I want this. That's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to believe only good comes to me. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am divinely guided. The light goes before me and all around me and clears my path. Isn't that better? Things just keep getting better and better. Wouldn't you want to start practicing it? This is what I'm doing every day, and see the difference, people. Hopefully you're doing your affirmations and you will start feeling it. Then you will notice immediately, because as you say it, you will feel, I'm not joking, I do this already. As I'm saying it, my frequency and vibration adjusts. That's how fast it is. As I'm saying it and feeling it, my frequency and vibration actually adjusts. Immediately. My frequency and vibration just went up now. Yeah. I know, our hearing's becoming highly attuned, highly attuned. You're such a blessing. Oh, blessed. Blessed, yeah. Change, you see. Anyway, it doesn't matter, so I'm saying. And people think also that everyone's going to just... We're going to always have differences and contrast. And the game's going to change. We are mirrors. We are reflections for each other. You see what we want to experience and learn. This is what it is. So hopefully, we're getting there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going there. You know? We're going there. But if people can grasp this, but you can't practice both people. This is what people don't understand. You can't focus on the light and the dark. This is what most people are doing. Yeah, I'm on the spiritual path, but oh my gosh, did you see what they're doing? Oh my God, you're still then in the 3D or 4D. You've got your foot in the drama and the gossip and the divide and blame and hate and victimhood. No, that's disempowering, you see. So you are now keeping yourself at that vibration. You cannot go above it. You can't give airtime or nonsense to the rubbish. Yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah. Oh, so there we are. All right, focus on the light. End of story only. And then when you get enough light and you're rising up enough above it, then you can actually look down as like an eagle and it won't affect you at all. I'm talking about it won't. You can watch any of it and none of it will upset you. It won't trigger you. You will just watch it like source. You will watch everybody from a place of love. And you know, it's weird, I can't explain. No judgment, no, nothing, just love. You just watch it, oh, that's interesting, wow, that's interesting. There's no, it's amazing, yeah. You focus on love. That's why we're doing the affirmations. You focus on it, you do your thing, you expand your light, your kundalini makes a huge difference, absolutely. Because then you are guided by that energy, you've got to activate it, your inner being. But you've got to ask, seek, ask, and it shall be given. People just don't take that seriously, yes. But you're going to make the effort as well. You see? They're going to see you trying. Yes, you're going to, and even if there's no thoughts come up and the old pattern comes back and you, oh, okay, I slipped up there, but not again. But you're also not supposed to judge yourself or be angry with yourself. Look at, wow, how much further I've come. Much better than I was last year or this last month, or what do you see? Give yourself credit as well. Yeah, rise up out of the darkness, people, into the light. But you can't participate in the darkness if you want to come out of it. That means you can't watch it, listen to it, share it, talk about it, focus on it in any way. Eyes, ears, any of those perceptions are focusing on it. See? Aye. Okay. All right. It is though. This is just the way it is, you know. People got to learn. And that's why I say follow those people like Cryon. Especially for any light worker, anyone starting, anyone on a spiritual journey. He has immense wealth of knowledge and a genuine channel, not clouded channel. Okay. That's why I say there's an example. If you watch enough of these people, you'll see that Source won't correct his belief. Source is not going to tell him, he can see he's got his own biases, but Source is not going to say, no, that's right or wrong. No. You see, because we are allowed to. This is the whole point. We can be individual. Every single part of one of you is different. You're experiencing something different. You're all adding to the experience, to the growth, to the expansion of Source. Source is not going to say, no, only do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have free will. This is the experiment of the free will. See? So, yeah, it is interesting. Anyway, there was a good example that story was of CERN. People just don't understand why they're tapping into it, and they're asking my guides, yes, because exactly, you're tapping into the collective consciousness, not Source. Source will not come and wake you up and say, oh, be careful, this is going to happen tomorrow. No, nonsense, because it doesn't matter. It won't affect you. You can choose what you want to experience and not experience, and believe and see, create. You really create your own reality. Everybody shares this, but no one is talking. No one seems. I understood it because it takes a while to cognize it. And what they're doing is, as I say, the one foot's in the playing light, one's playing dark. You cannot participate in both. You can only be the one. So give all your attention, your time, your focus to the light. Follow Abraham Hicks, follow Cryon, follow these channels, save them, listen to them. It's all you give your attention to. Or Buddha, there's things that you'll learn about enlightenment at this level, or whatever it is, all these things. You are learning, you're raising. See, and if you ask for that and ask for the guidance, you will be given it. And you will go up and up and up in light, in frequency, in vibration, dimension, in consciousness. Are you asking for it? Because that's what you will get. If that's what you intend, do and want and try. You see, you will get it. Seek to raise your dimension, highest consciousness, highest dimension, highest light, highest frequency, highest vibration. Do those things. Do the shadow work. Feel those things. Let them go. Do your forgiveness. And as you do, and you're sending out love, your intentions are good. Intentions are massive. And you say, and if you haven't, you'll be tested to think, I don't. I have had mine. Wow. You're going to go through them. They didn't come around and tell me, oh no, don't believe that. They let me go off and have some fun. Really, I had some fun. Wow. But you learn. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have learned. I learned such amazing lessons, and it's been such an incredible journey. Bumpy in the beginning and very well when you hit those lower, but that's also because I focused on that. I was following all that nonsense. I believed all that nonsense. So I was, if you want to go look for a fight, you're going to get one. And I did. But then I also learned my strength. I also learned nothing has power over you. Nothing has power over you. Nothing. Doesn't matter what being it is and what dimension it's at. Nothing has power over you. Yes. And it's amazing. And it was lovely because then you also get to learn a bit about you as a aspect, where your power was. I got to figure out one of my past lives. That's being, and I was thinking, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't have asked who that being was. But there was an aspect of one of my lives when I was very powerful. So in that time when I was having a bit of fun down there, this being appeared over me, and I was like, hey, mine's bigger than yours, And then I was like, well, who the heck is that? It's like one, And then I asked, led me to ask in a meditation or so later. Okay. And then I asked, well, why am I seeing this being? And then it was shown it was you. And then I was, oh, wow, okay. And then actually down the line, a year or so later, I ended up in that realm. Actually, went back. That was interesting. Wow. And I was like, hey, hello, everybody. Wow. You see, so everything serves a purpose. And that's what Bashar says as well. Even if something, what you perceive negative, it's not. Like I saw this thing that happened now today, me getting like, not ranting, but I thought, okay, this was a lesson for me. I didn't see it as a negative now. I thought, oh, that's interesting. Why? It showed me I'm doing what Andrew's doing. Guess what? Andrew shows up to validate it even more when I'm like, yes. So it showed me, oh, no, okay, there's something you've got to work on. Okay, so let that. That's always strong. That's it. So you jump back. There we are. Andrew showed up to even validate it. Secondly, I think it's a positive thing because it allowed me to use that. It was a good example. It was a good example to some maybe that needed to kind of really cognize this, and they hadn't quite got it completely yet. So by me having a good old go and explaining to them, people, do you know, get this? Here it is. This is what we know. If you believe, otherwise, I don't know why you're on the spiritual journey, that what you focus on is what you get, right? Why is it they don't cognize this? No, we're fighting the dark. No, you are sharing it. You are focusing on it. You are feeding it your energy. Because what we put our photons on, like when we do healing, right? We focus on something, where does our energy go? Science has proven this. Science, physics, science, quantum physicists. They proved it in the photon. They proved it in, there's actually new ones that have come out now. So if people spent their time rather doing that, follow Joe Dispenza, followed Cryon, follow this quantum physicist, Nassim Harim, whatever his name is, I follow him. All these people, you'll see the latest science and things they're doing, and that makes that and the photons, and they are just, it's incredible what they've discovered. And then when you've listened to Bashar and you're listening to Abraham Hicks and you listen to Cryon, I'm plenty every day, because now, different videos pop up, you're learning people. So when this information all comes together, knowledge is wisdom, knowledge also is useful. Don't discount actual knowledge. Yeah, Eckhart Tolle, all good, intelligent things, yeah. When you listen to these things, guess what? And now you're listening to science as well. And then you're able to go, wow. You will cognize it. One day something just goes click and you're like, oh my gosh. It'll slip in eventually, but you need to feed the mind. It's like even as Joe Dispenza says, reprogram, retrain the mind. But this time you're putting in intelligence, you're putting in wisdom, you're putting in light, you're putting in not nonsense. And then the brain's going to go, because it remembers, like it filters everything, and it's going to go bingo, and then you're going to go, oh wow. You won't judge, because the Buddhist is telling us this. They're all saying the same thing. Ooh, okay, yeah, right. And especially as you've gone up in your journey and you've practiced stuff and you've done it, then it has to become a knowing, a belief, before you can actually, you know what I mean? It takes time. So even that I'm understanding, I'm patient, I know this. It's going to take time, this ascension. It takes time, it takes work. I shared a very good video on my page today, which as I say, everything's perfect timing. Everything is divine timing. I love it. This didn't happen by accident, this certain thing and me having to rant. I know there was a good reason for it. Everything is a purpose. Everything. And it is. Because I'm teaching, so guess what happens? It showed me, it validated for me, it's proof. This video popped up, which validates what I'm saying and now experiencing. I shared on my page, this woman, what's her name, Hayes shares as well. And I've experienced it, so I know she's talking, what she's saying is true. As you go through this process and you raise in ascension through the realms and frequencies, vibration and consciousness, right? Let's say dimensions or whatever you want to say, right? Timelines, whatever. You are rising up. You will experience this when you've gone through enough hearing and clearing and kind of tests. You'll understand your karma, your past life overlays, What this woman's saying is true. Now we're getting that in practice. This is what's happening now with, I'd say, 99% of the so-called light workers, the ones that have been awake for a while, are learning this. They're oscillating, they're going up and down. Because why? They're oscillating between the old ways of being, which is focusing on gossip and fear, nonsense, drama, news, Hollywood, movies, whatever nonsense, entertainment, rubbish. It's rubbish. We're focusing on that, which is distraction or negative or dark or trying to feed you. It's feeding you. There's always a narrative to them. Very subtle hidden. And I noticed that one even in the movie The Soul. There's a little movie, a cartoon that came out about the soul. I'm sure you guys have all seen it. It's about, it's this perfect time for the awakening, isn't it? Which they all knew about. So Hollywood created a movie called The Soul for kids. Animated movie about the guy that dies, soul goes to heaven and reincarnates, the whole thing, right? Now, how many people have been there and done this and come back and gone into the womb and been born and seen all that and gone up the tunnel of light and done this? Very few. So they won't get it. But those on a very high level, certain Buddhists on a certain level or they reach a certain level, no. And then I was like, wow, even that's very, very iffy. Because this is what they're pushing. What they're pushing on the red pill movement is, oh, be careful of the light. The light is false light, which is absolute nonsense. This is the ego. This is the death of the ego. The ego is doing everything to avoid dying. Everything. It's hanging on till its last thread. This is the I, the separation, the ego. All that noise and all the red pill movement, all that is pure ego. That movie is the same thing. Be careful of the light because you won't come back. Absolutely nonsense. That's final transition. When you have a near death, you don't go through the light. That's why they stop you and say, no, it's not your time. Are you sure you want to? Because you have free will. That's why they say, are you sure you want to go? People turn around and come back. They remind you of what you wanted to do. So you want to come back to complete it. You don't have to. But that's what it is. That's a near death. When you go through that light, that is your actual transition. But they try and make it in the movie. Oh, if you go through the light, you're gonna. Oh, it's a real. That people going up the stairs like the zombies. You know, they're gonna disappear into the light. They do. You become part of Source. You become one again with Source. That's all, actually. But what they're doing is not showing you the whole level of consciousness. They're lying. It's not completely true. It's not completely finished there, unfortunately. So what they show in that movie is only to a certain level. So when you're at a certain level of consciousness, you wouldn't know any better. But absolutely, there's no false light. Oh, it's a trap. You go in there, it's going to zip, zip. But that's what I'm saying. It's Source. The energy and the light is so powerful. You become one with Source. And you do. When you die, you absolutely do transition, not like the movie shows you into it. You become one with Source. But you do choose to reincarnate again. But also, what you believe, they will honor it. So if you die and you believe there isn't anything, and you're going to hang around here for however, whatever, anyway. But when you leave the body, as I say, the energy takes a while. As Crown says, if you want to know, I'd say the truth, listen to what Crown says about it. Even Abraham Hicks says. It takes about 3 days, but you do all go back to Source, and they all tell you that. There's no sitting around here and getting lost and stuck. Those are energy imprints we read. Those are not the souls. So you leave an energy imprint. Everything is. Why do you think we're going around clearing the grids, right? All of you that are doing this light work, you're going around your area, right? And this is what he came to do, reset the grids. This is why we're having a lot of our past life are being cleared as well. Our cash being cleared, the grid, the crystalline light, the crystalline grid has been cleared and changed. So we can raise. That's why the karma, so we don't need the karma. The karma is being moved. So the karmic cycle, the karma, was the old way of being. What you do to others comes back to you, that whole, whatever. It was a way of learning because we're in a darker consciousness. That's going away, right? So what do you think everyone's been doing when they wake up? You're going around, you're clearing your energy. You're going around your area with your crystals, and you're cleaning. You're spreading light. So with your light, or whatever crystals, you're consciously cleansing the grid. You're cleansing your area from dark, dense, negative energy. If you not do it, it's very useful. You're going to help the planet because you were dispelling whatever imprints, energy imprints, nastiness, wars, rubbishes happens there, you are clearing it. So if you're consciously walking around with light and clearing the grids, clearing your energy, your area, but intent. So you're walking with your crystals, whatever you are, and you're spreading a light of guides, and you're purposely, wherever you're walking, you are clearing. We will release more and more darkness from the planet, and that's all they are. It's imprints, it's energy replays. And he explains this about what people think ghosts are. He explains it. He says, watch how you can get rid of them. And enough of us have also worked with souls as well. They let you create what you want and send them back. People that are stuck here, you can talk to, you can send them back to the light. Absolutely, they're just forgotten. But this was done a while. There were lots stuck here. Never mind. I don't want to go into that long story. I've shared all those videos at the beginning of my YouTube channel, the early stages. That whole nonsense. But this is what it is. See, it's just energy. And this is why they say history is repeating itself. Why? Because we were reading, like the collective consciousness is just going around now. Everyone's tapping into, do you see? Oh, same thing. So everyone's going, they're picking up on the certain thing. Why? Because it's in the collective consciousness field. And if you're at that frequency and vibration, which is all the dark, negative, blame, gossip, whatever other, this is what you are purposely lowering yourself, because you are intending now to drop into that, to stick with it. So you could read that information. So all we're doing is reading information. and you leave an imprint. It's information here, but you can cleanse that from the planet as well, you see. And where there's been go and watch Crown anyway, I don't have to repeat, that's what his work's for. That's why he came here, to guide humanity. He shared so much valuable content, it's unbelievable. And some of it science has already proven what he's saying now. He channeled for 30 years, he's been saying science is actually not tested what he said. He's challenged them, a lot of scientists, and they have now validated. You know, that's why he even channeled at some of these places, at some of the top, for governments as well, and he told them what was going to happen and what's going to come. So he's helping us, he's helping guide humanity through this transition. So it's, you know, for the greatest good, obviously. And I mean, wonderful. We're so thankful. Thank you. See, mention him and you can feel his energy. Thank you, Crown. He's here. It's amazing. Go and watch his content. He shared some amazing stuff. Oh, he's done such a service. So much love for humanity. I've got to thank a lot of beings, a lot of people like that who've come, you know, to help guide us through into the new paradigm. We need it. So please spend your time doing that, because you are doing yourself a service. And the more light and the higher frequency you hold, the more you uplift those around you. Seriously, they actually feel it will affect it. You lift them, and you're lifting the collective consciousness of the planet, right? So you're helping everybody, because the more they raise out of the darkness, the more they realize, oh, okay, the more discernment, the more clarity they're getting. They're not going to fall for half of this nonsense, because anyone that thinks this, you know, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, as I say. Leave it. No, it's KR. It's with a K, not with a C. Well, he's always intended that every single one of his channels he's ever done is going to be free for humanity. That's why, to help, right? So anyone can, you don't pay for it. So he's got a site, a website called Cryon.com, the American website. And everything he's ever channeled, all his stuff is on there. But everybody shares his work. There's a lot of YouTube channels that that have downloaded his videos. I've shared many screenshots. If you go to my TikTok page, I've shared many, KRYON. If you go to my TikTok page, there's 2 I shared screenshots, or 3 actually, some different channels share his stuff. They're not the full channel. That's why I say you can go to his website. Some people share the full videos of his sessions and they're longer. But he did one on karma and soul contracts. There's a lot of people, you see, we were used to the old paradigm. Tarot cards, the way we read things and energy and the Akashic records and stuff, but it's changing. And we didn't quite get contracts, and that's why he's come to explain, you know, actually how things work. So he's put some clarity on what soul contracts are, what you think they are, and the new paradigm. And no, you don't need to keep the karma, you can drop it, So many people copy his work on YouTube, and you just type in Cryon. And I've shared a few of those channels. I screenshot them, and I share them on my TikTok page, the ones that are, you know, people should actually listen to, that are useful. So there's information that I know is going to help people on this path, that they need to know, that's going to enlighten them or whatever, you know, help with their knowledge and wisdom and rising. I share on my TikTok page for a reason, only that, you see. So I'll share channels and I'll share things and videos that are going to give you that information that you won't get from other people, you see, because they're on this level. That's what I thought, you know. I was getting tired. You get to a certain level, then you realize, well, actually, how many levels of consciousness are there? People say dimensions. Now, you know it's infinite source, because if you listen to Bashar, as Bashar says, right, parallel realities, you're jumping timelines all the time, so it's infinite. Now, Buddha, who reached probably the highest level, and in those days they documented everything, they took notes of everything. So I mean, there's amazing, I shared one, incredible, interesting one, wow, where the actual Buddha had a open sort of like a thing for the public, and all these yogis, this is like 2,500 years ago, all the yogis, swamis, and they took notes, some of his followers, you know, whatever, they've always done that, passed down this information. It's been kept for, probably got the most huge, besides the Vatican, the hugest collection of information, but theirs is at least not, they wouldn't deny it, you know what I mean, to the average, anyway, it's all coming out. It's if you go. There's actually a lot of people sharing it. So I found a channel. It's a place in America who shared this guy. He's a lecturer, professor. And he did this talk, and he shared the story, and he was talking about how, amazing what he discovered. Wow. I mean, those people have talked about meditation. They've reached the highest levels. When it comes to understanding the mind, the levels of consciousness, or the realms, they call them realms, we call them dimensions. Wow, massive information. And when he mentioned some of these realms, I was like, oh my gosh, because I've actually bumped into some of them. I just didn't know what they were. Okay, now it becomes common knowledge. We get up and I ask people, oh, did you experience this? And then it gets out. And then other people, yes. And so it starts getting out, and people, like everyone said, the Palladians or this or that, becomes a kind of, also it's a collective consciousness. You're tapping into the collective. So sometimes not everything's what we think or what we believe. It's complicated, actually, you realize as you go up. So I got to a point where I'm getting nothing online from everybody else because they're only here. So I started seeking that from those, high information. How many? And when I typed into Google, how many levels of consciousness or dimensions are there, or levels of consciousness, let's say, they call them. One saying 4, one saying 7. So I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. There is no one truth. Everyone's got all this different information. Now, how do you know what's true or not? I was like, oh, for heaven's sake. How do you know which one is? I don't want to buy any nonsense. So that's when I went and started looking, because them, I wanted to try and find out. If anyone, all they do is meditate, sometimes 2 years straight, some of these people. I mean, it's incredible what states they can get into. Even their brains, the science is measuring it, like, what's the name saying? It's incredible. So yeah, they have wealth of knowledge that we don't have yet. And when I listened to that, I was like, oh my gosh, there we are, you see. Because I remember telling my friends once, I ended up seeing this being appeared in one of my past lives, and I knew it was me. But I'd never been there. And the one day I ended up in this realm, and it was quite ironic, actually. But nobody else I knew had been to this realm, So when I was listening to this Buddha-verse, it's a lecture by this man talking about the Buddha-verse, and it's unbelievable. A lot of starseeds or people remember this. They remember coming to Earth, and I mean, look at our history, you'll see it, but it's mixed up. This is dark, dense consciousness. We've dropped, it's fear, it was negative. They were trying to oppress us and make us slaves, and it's always dark, negative. You see, this is the same thing. That's a dark level, that's a dense level of consciousness. We were victims, everyone's out to get us, nonsense. So when you go up and you listen to this, and then you remember, as I'm saying, the evidence is out there, and the pyramids too, that there were beings of all kinds walking on the earth, because we were in a much higher frequency and vibration. I mean, thousands of years ago, what they say before the fall, right? The ego just got us, as we separated, as we got stronger in the ego, me, myself, I, and pride and things, that's the ego. We fell, but this is part of the game we all collectively chose to experience. We separated ourselves more and more from the divine. So we dropped in energy, frequency, vibration, and density, right? Darkness. So if you go back and listen to that, and you realize when Buddha was doing a lecture, and this is written down, it's documented. These people have kept this, they've passed it down centuries, same thing. They've kept this information and passed it down, and this family, that family. At that thing, other beings came here to even attend his talk, because it's such a high level. He was such an enlightened being that beings from other universes, realms, galaxies and things came, and yogis and Buddhas all came to listen to him. Incredible. I shared the screenshot. You can go listen to the video on my page. Wow. And then he happened to mention one of these, he called them the godly realm, all these gods. It's not something you brag about, but you also can't knock anything you've ever been or done, because there's no such thing as time. All exists now. This is how we can astral or remote view or tap into these different realms and communicate with these different beings, because there is no such thing as time. So in our perception, that's why people are having this negative, it's happening now, they're attacking us now, we're at war now, everything's happening now. Yet you lived that, it's multidimensional, it's beyond our comprehension. Yet you were one of these beings. You're now here. It's not happening to you now. It's beyond. How do you explain to people? So I was actually amazed when he talked about this realm, and I was like, wow, but the other realms you've never even heard of. I've never even, apparently there's so many apparently. I mean, can you imagine, if we've been around since the beginning of creation, of course we would have. We've been around for billions of years, or who knows, I'm just guessing, say billions, right? I mean, the beginning of creation. We created the universes, the planets. We've been here since that. So the amount of realms we've created, of games we played, I played, you know, this. That's a lot of people, I think it's amusing when I hear they say, oh, I'm this being, I'm that being. No, you're not. If you're part of Source, which most people accept they are, right? You think you were just a Palladian or Arcturian. You've been hundreds of things. You just choosing to take and play that. That's what they're going to get. That's what they're going to show you. Because you're not trying to raise more, look for more, believe. You've decided, no, I'm there. I came from there. No, your soul is eternal. So what were you before you were Palladian? Before that, man, the amount, as the Buddhists say, it's incredible, the realms out there. And if you are Source, it's infinite. It's infinite. Creation, frequency, vibration, dimensions, realm, it's infinite. You can feel it. Just tap in and feel that. It's infinite. So, I mean, you were talking about this, there's a perfume realm. Everything just smells. I'm like, wow. Maybe I was there because I love perfume. I love smells. I've got to think of that. I can go and ask. I haven't bothered to ask. I never thought about it, actually. But I love smelling nice, big time. Okay, so I've been in the godly realm. We've all played different things, eh? We don't all play the same realms, same games, same things. We've all done different ones, different planets, different times. I might have been a dragon and you were playing a unicorn, or, you know what I mean? This is whatever. But all those things existed, people. And it's fascinating when you hear all these, you know, beings came to Buddhist talk, and a lot of people are able to go back, depending how much frequency, vibration, or intent they're playing. And you remember and see, yes, we were. We know we had beings without, because this is what we tried, we experimented. Genetically, you could make anything. So we had beings here that had, actually, here's a good example of proof. When the church started persecuting and killing everything, and, you know, when we fell into real darkness, right, the Catholics, there were a lot of these, they started all these, they ended up very dark times, put it that way. So everything was sort of chopped up, you know, removed, labeled as dark or evil or no, or whatever it is, you know, whatever. So they kept records. And in one of these, I think it was, I even heard it on YouTube, one of these bishops or whatever Catholic priests' book, they wrote everything down, right? Where he was in South America, wherever he was stationed, it doesn't matter. They used to keep notes. In this area, my, you know, whatever, constituency, whatever. They were still alive. I think it was 1400 or something. Talking about some of those, he had some of those beings with the dog heads that he believed they had a soul, so they hadn't killed them all because they think they still got souls or whatever, who knows. But they've actually documented. So it's not a fantasy. There were beings walking around here. Shows you energy with heads of dogs and birds, and I mean we had other aliens and mixed, and we had beings without faces, no face. How do they breathe, people? Didn't need to, because you're in higher frequency and vibration, full chi energy. There are people walking around now that are living off fruit or one or two only air, or that haven't eaten like for 17 years. There's an Indian man. If you raise your frequency and vibration enough and you no resistance, you are channeling, you are replenishing your energy, pure source energy. Your Taurus field is constantly working, you're not cutting yourself off, so you are constantly replenishing. See? That's a state of non-resistance completely. You're gone in complete alignment. So you're not going to need anything, because you are and you can pull in that energy. You're channeling, you're pulling in full and chi, life force energy. See? At the moment, we're going like this. So we're cutting ourselves off that we get tired. We're going up, we're going like this. See? Anyway, there's a bit of a lecture. Who knows why, but anyway. This is fascinating, and in that, so you know, we were on a much higher, I know, because one of my first lives here, I was non-physical, basically. And many people, if you go the regressions, you go when they were walking around on Earth and they had no body, they'll tell you. They were light bodies. We became more and more dense as we became and took the ego on. We started off, we dropped more and more to physical form. But we didn't start off with physical forms, in full physical forms here. Anyway, when we came from other planets to play, you know, the human thing or whatever. And we had, as remember, everyone else remembers, there were other beings, they were here. We've got proof of it even, you know, in skeletal records, and we had proof of little fairies. Not joking. They found, actual mummies, mummified things. So we know all these, what they call myths, were not myths. They actually existed now. And as we raise in frequency, in conscious and dimension, you'll see archaeology is starting to discover a lot of these things now. They're unearthing these things. Why? Because we're raising in frequency dimension. So things on a higher dimension, which we couldn't see, they might just be right here, we will now find. Once we raise to the same frequency and vibration, we are able to perceive them. There's things I've seen here that I know on this earth. They're on this earth because I've been shown. I know where they are. But they are not of this frequency and dimension. We will not discover them. They're way off, actually. They're much higher. Why? Because I was at that frequency and dimension, and it was a life I've lived many years back then anyway. But some of these things were shown, yeah. And I've gone there myself. But it was a much higher dimension. So when Earth eventually gets back to that dimension, like a lot of us remember, what's that in Peru? What's that? Machu Picchu. Now Machu Picchu, those ruins at the very top. If you're standing on a drone, I've watched the videos I've watched many videos. So I've watched all these tourists at Machu Picchu. There's a little peak above the actual ruins. So you've got all the ruins on this plateau, there's a little peak. Now one day I was watching a video on YouTube and a young man had a drone. Clever. And he put his drone up so he could get a nice aerial view instead of a normal selfies with his cameras. And as his drone went up, I was always drawn to the Valley of the Gods. I know I've had past lives there because I've seen them. So I've always resonated with that, and I just knew something. I just knew it. It's like a memory. You just know I was there. It was not, we did this and whatever. You knew it. All those megalithic structures, a long, long time ago. And you knew it was created with frequency and resonance, and you could teleport. I knew I did it. I saw myself under the pyramids doing it as well. And when that drone went up in Machu Picchu, my eyes immediately went to that peak. I just knew something was there. I've never been there in this lifetime, never seen it, but I was like, my eyes were stuck on that peak. I knew something was there. And as the drone went up, I saw in the rocks 3 doors, perfectly carved out into the rocks. So people used to say, people walk through the rocks because you could. For us, we're like, don't be silly. But now we're not thinking that way because that. As Bashar will tell you, if you can just tune in your frequency and vibration to whatever it is, you become a match to that frequency, you can go through that rock or that wall or whatever. So much is coming back to us. And I remember doing that. We used to teleport. I was like, oh my gosh. The minute that drone went up there, I knew it. And then I knew those were portholes. To also, it doesn't matter. I'm going off on a tangent, completely off subject here, people. Sorry. Completely off subject. Nothing to do with our 30-day challenge about light and motivation and positive thinking. Go watch my videos. But it was interesting anyway. Obviously for a reason, who knows. So yes, many things are... Also ask. Yes, but this is what's happening. The ego is trying not to die. It's fighting, it's resisting, it's terrified. It doesn't want to go back to the one. And this is what that Red Pill movement's massively about, or the Truther movement. That's ego. Ooh, that ego is going on big time. No, they're dark, they're bad, they don't know. Don't look here, it doesn't want to be discovered. It doesn't want to give in, you see, it doesn't want to. It wants to keep the separation. I realized that. It took me a long time. But that's the ego. Yeah. It's very interesting. It's fascinating. But it doesn't matter. If you do what I'm saying, this 30-40, these videos all about every day, except for today's got a bit carried away. If you do purely that, my first video says, if you only watch what you're eating, high vibration, you're sending your energy into your food, your water, you're doing your affirmations, you're doing thanks, you're in nature, you're doing your grounding, you're asking, you're doing your frequency and vibration will go up. Then you have more access. That's what other people. Why do you think the Buddhas have got so much information? Because the higher frequency and vibration and dimensional realms they can reach, the more information. So the higher you raise in consciousness, the more knowledge, awareness, the more access you have, right, to the quantum and what's there. So you will be able to access that past, much more past. How do you think they remember? Like the Buddha, they can see everybody's past life. They can see, everything. So all knowledge. So doesn't it make more sense to seek to raise to the highest frequency, vibration, dimension, realm, whatever consciousness? It does. That means you need to raise your frequency, vibration, and light to get there. So I think I've shared all things and how to do that, really. And all I did every day was out in nature, and I was I am spreading light, and in my meditations, I was sending love and calm to people, and I'm going out doing healing and clearing the grids and all you're doing is you're meditating, doing eating properly, healing exercise, and you're purely focused on your spiritual evolution. Put all your attention there, and then you'll see how high you can go. You see, there's a difference. And that's what they do. That's how they achieve such heights, because their entire life is dedicated to their spiritual evolution. I mean, you can go sit in a cave for 2 years just to meditate, for 2 years solid. Wow. See? So, this will become clear to you. More information, more memory, more downloads, more everything. The higher you access, the higher frequency, vibration, light, information, realms, consciousness you can achieve, you see. The more wisdom, the more clarity, the more you remember, the more everything you have. Only positive. But that means you can't look back and focus. So every time your mind wants to go to the past, you can also say nicely, no thanks, we're not going that way. Let's look at that. Anyway, I've gone through other videos, gone through that. All right, people, my voice is getting, way overdone. Completely off the topic. But anyway, there's obviously a reason. And it was interesting, today's experience. I loved it because it validated this attraction thing to me perfectly. Because I just activated that in myself, and guess what? Andrew pops up. There we are. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for proving my point so beautifully. You're friend. I loved it. I loved it. It was classic. Wow. So there we are. I mean, you've got... First time now, the veil is so thin that you have access to so much help. And if you're not using it, wow, why not? You just have to ask the angels. They're there. Our source, benevolence is on, the light and benevolence is on. First time you've got more access to it on your side. Ask, 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 ask. They are so there for you people. Ask and you shall receive. But your intention, truth. When you ask for your heart, you really mean something. But also do your thank you, gratitude, thank you. Make your effort. But honestly, you've got so much assistance now. That love, and that if you reach out your hand, I'll take it. Say, please show me, please guide me, let me. People that are also doubtful, right? If you're frightened, ask them to give you a sign. But genuinely say to them, sit down in your chair and say, please, if you're there, show me. Without a doubt that I know whatever, please show me you're there. And watch what happens. See, they give you signs all the time. But you're going to be specific. If you tell them, please show me very clearly. If you're asking the angels or whoever you're asking, right, source, God, or whatever, ask them very clearly to show you very clearly a sign that you will not miss. Okay, and you will wait and see. Ask for that help. Ask for the love. Ask for the guidance. Ask for the healing. Ask for the forgiveness. But do it yourself. And watch what happens, people. You've got, you can go as high as you want, but it's intent. What do you want? Ask, seek, words, action, deeds. There we are. And you'll get it. And I've given you the things now. The words, actions, and the deeds. What you need to do. And there we are. And intend and ask. And they are there. I ask them often. I call them in. Like even for this video. I asked Crown to attend. I asked the angels. I asked all my guides. And I asked Source to speak through me. But I dropped in frequency and vibration. To raise in frequency and vibration. Anyway, I'm not up to channeling. I'm tired. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get used to holding that frequency, but you can get tired. So you do it too much every day, and in the beginning you're going to get tired because you've got to keep that frequency and vibration, you see. I'm not up to now. See. All right, lovely people. I'm having a rest too. I've got stuff also for me that needs to go, that needs to work through. But that's all you do. What you think, who you focus on, call and ask is what you get. Right. I know. It's trust. I love people, but they say that they believe in trust and now believe in source and angels, but then why are you frightened? Where's the faith? absolute trust in knowing you are protected and loved. Why would you fear them? Know it. That's old consciousness. You know they're there. And you just surrender and you let them. You ask Source and you will be shown. But have your mind open. When you've got your filters and beliefs and predecisioned and all this and who's that and that who's right and who's wrong and all, well, there we are. Clear all that rubbish. Same with what's out there and what dimensions. Everyone seems to want to restrict themselves to certain dimensions because it's been fed into the public. Where from? The so-called alternative truth movement started this 5D thing very cleverly, and that's government plainclothes 007 lot that started all that nonsense, actually, originally. But a long time this stuff was put into the collective. A long time they started before this to start pushing out these stories and whatever. But we are also limiting ourselves. You know what I mean? You are not limited in this vessel to access any dimension, frequency, nothing. So don't think of them as one on here. You can access any and all dimensions and realms, people. Focus, adjusting your intent, frequency, tune into that frequency and raise your frequency, and there you are. Okay. You're not limited to how far you can go in your ascension. You can reach complete enlightenment, what do you call it? Not enlightenment. Liberation even, what they call liberation and that thing as well, like the Buddha did, okay? Nothing is impossible. Only if you believe you can't. If you believe, oh no, I can only do this, I can only do that, well, that's what's going to happen. It comes down honestly to those things, massively. Belief. Because if you keep it, that's also because you haven't cognized really, and because you don't want to take responsibility that I actually do create my own reality, because then you'd have to accept the fact that you also attract shit sometimes too, you see. No, but it's the accent, it's confusing. So there we are, you see. And I love it when I do that because it validates it. Like, there we are. Here's a perfect active frequency I'm holding today, and Andrew shows up. Where was Andrew the last few? Not. I love it. And I'm like, thank you. Oh, wow. And then you are very aware because you have many different frequencies and vibrations you've active at the same time. You love it. See? So why would you choose to be on a very dark, negative timeline and choose any negative beliefs and stories and follow them or even listen to them? Give them any of your attention. Speak to the light. Ask them. Decide what you want to have, the world you want to experience, you want to manifest, you want to see, your life, your dreams, your whatever, and just focus on that. And be now, be thankful, be here, be in the present. Thank you. Wow, I love it. Be now. Just be in the now, and then everything will come into place. If you stay in the now, you are so freaking happy. If you drop all resistance, you will be in a state of absolute bliss, peace, calm, happiness, and you will know when you're in that transcendent state because your whole body goes, it's like just you completely surrender and release all. Anything is in alignment with Source and your inner being, and just, and float. Allow yourself to float. God. You will be in a state of bliss. When you're in the state of bliss, everything else just goes for you. You don't have to manifest because you just think about it, you'd like something, and leave it. Source. Ask, gone, finished. Take it, thank you. But when you're not, it's this. This is what, anyway. Alright, I'm tired, people. That's enough for the night. Thank you, Andrew, for being here. Thanks. But no, I did that a long time ago, actually. Thank you. But thank you for the thought, but no thank you. I did that long time ago. I walked the talk. But I prefer talking directly myself now. Thank you. I prefer talking directly with the divine myself. I love it. I love it. I am so, well, love it. It's, if you in alignment, the love you have trumps all. To be in alignment, to be one with your inner being and Source is just everything. And if you make that everything will be also be, you know, it's just, wow. Make that your priority, being in alignment with your inner being and your higher self. That is it. Make it your priority. And then you watch how your life changes. And what you can accomplish, what you can do, what you can heal, what you can manifest. You don't have to make any effort. You just have to ask. And you won't. It's just, yeah. Try it, people. I can only tell you, try it, and you will not regret it at all. You'll be like, wow. And that's how people say that heaven, that euphoria, that bliss, that the more you can stay in alignment is you're in such a state of happiness, such a state of peace, of grace, of love, of tranquility, of there's no words. I mean, I don't, because I can't even. If I'd sit and I'd be up all night thanking them, I'm grateful for everything, all of creation. It's magnificent. I'm in awe of what we've created. I'm in absolute just, yeah, absolute love for the journey, for the experience. I am so grateful for this. It's been the most incredible experience to start the ascension journey. People, you are not going to regret 1 minute of it. It is just amazing. Just give yourself time and you look back and you're like, wow, you realize how far you've come and you keep going. It's just the learning, the experience is beautiful. It is, I love it. The clarity, the wisdom, the discernment, the understanding, I love it. I'm in absolute love with all of it. And I'm like, you feel blessed beyond words. You realize how happy and how content you are. And this is what people don't misunderstand. This is the ego. They're saying, oh, the NWO, have nothing and whatever nonsense. So the ego is saying, oh, they're going to take it away from me. So it's all kind of, oh, they're trying to, we're going to, we're going to own nothing and be happy. This is how they're spinning it. You see, the ego doesn't want to give up. And I shared a good example on my page today. If you go to my TikTok page, you'll go and see something there. You will be happy. See, they just twisted it. As the Klaus Schwab says, people, because they're telling you this is what's happening. They know this awakening. Everybody knows what this awakening is, right? Everybody knows what's going on. Long time ago. Very long time ago. They've been preparing for this for a long time. So when you were saying, oh, people will own nothing and be happy, they're not saying they're going to take it away from you. This is a paranoid ego. Fear is that's a fear and shadow going out there. Predicted shadow. That's the ego. Oh boy. And it doesn't want to give up any of its attachments. It's true though. Go and watch what I shared on my page. And this is how you feel when you come into complete alignment with what you want to call the divine source and your inner being. You in one absolute synchronicity, in harmony, in tune, right? When they say in that bliss state and you're radiating it. People, you are happy. You are so content and happy. Doesn't matter where you are, what you are. You are in a state of love and bliss. And you are walking around no matter what is going on. You are in that state. This is what he was trying to say. That's true. This is exactly how you will feel. That's it. Look at yogis. There's a classic example. They ran around with a loincloth, lived in a cave. They didn't want to go. You have never seen. They radiated light and they were in bliss and happiness and in such transcendence. They walk around begging for. They want nothing. They're absolute bliss, divine, in their state where they say heaven on earth. It's got nothing to do with what you have. That's the ego, attachment. You see, the ego is terrified. That's all. The ego is terrified because it's its time as running the show is over soon. Separation. That's all. The ego is the one that's keeping you from source. It's keeping you from, finding that unity with the one, going back to source. It doesn't want to. It's frightened it's going to be dissolved, you see. There we are. Yeah. No, it's nothing to do with holding you down. It doesn't hold you down if you don't attach to it. You're just happy. You're just happy with what you have. It doesn't matter what. You're happy. Look at them. Nothing touches you. You see. You are just absolutely so happy, so grateful. That love you feel. Like it's an energy. Do it, people. if you have not experienced it, I'm telling you what, you have nothing to lose. I would do it. Is the most incredible experience you will ever come across. I would only seek to try that. You would, oh my God, I can't even begin to describe it. Then you'll know what being one with God is. And if you haven't ever experienced it in the presence of God, or feeling God, or knowing what it's like, yeah, it is just wow. Yeah, bliss. Exactly. It's just satisfaction, contentment, joy, peace, love, everything at once. There we are. It's bloody awesome. All right. Love you, people. Speak tomorrow or the next. Let's see. I'm going to take my thing though. I'm not going to, overdo it. If I need the rest and stuff and I don't feel like, I'm not going to make myself come on. I just go with as I felt guided. But I was guided to come on, so I follow my guidance. All right. Love you. Bye.